Hello and welcome to Tucson, Arizona. I'm Randy.
And I'm Daniel,
I only speak 18 languages.
as long as they're English.
So, I'm still so aggravated with, with the truck, dude. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I got the stupid radiator out. Don't buy Chrysler products. I will never own another
Did you get the
Jeep.
radiator out?
Yeah, it's out.
Nice.
You have to disassemble so much of the stupid truck to get to it. This truck looks baller from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Runs smooth. The starter, you have to basically remove a motor mount and raise the motor to get the starter in and out, which really pissed me off, and it took 2 days to do after work. And then the radiator, you have to disassemble the entire front end of the truck to get the radiator out. And the new one still hasn't showed up, even though I paid extra money to get it here by yesterday.
Still hasn't shown up?
Still hasn't shown up. Supposed to be here by 8 today. It was supposed to be here by like 5 yesterday.
Wow.
No, Tuesday.
Did you ever get a refund or still haven't heard anything?
Nope, I sent off emails. Anyways, that's not why we're here. I'm just, my brain's a little, I was very grumpy about an hour and a half ago. So, all right. So you were asking some questions earlier based on our last podcast.
Yes.
So you had stated something really interesting that I haven't heard anyone say in a long time. And I think it's indicative of politics, and it's why I follow politics. You had said that because you're not a political figure, like in any real sense of the word, you don't really care. So when you had said, you asked me a question, I'll put it that way. You said, how do I do this without just like feeling, how did you put
useless?
It? Yeah, you were like, how do you deal with this and not feel useless? Well, that's why I joined helping with an election campaign.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
You put it in a good way, being a part of a bigger voice.
Yeah, that way I'm part of something bigger than myself now. But you started asking some questions, and I'm trying to remember exactly how we led to where we left off. But you'd asked something, and I said I'll answer that on the podcast so I can blow your mind on the podcast. I just don't remember exactly where we left off. I was a little grumpy when you were talking to me.
No, that's okay. We were talking about the Twitter.
So the Twitter files.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had one thing led to another. You were talking to me about politics because clearly it's been on your mind, which is a little bit, which is awesome. Yeah. Like that makes me happy that you're at least thinking about things.
I'm interested in it. Our conversation that we had last time really got me.
Got your juices
There was a lot of questions that I had that you were able to answer, which was nice. But it left me wanting
more information. Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's how. Just because
I've always been so like standoffish with it,
kind of detached,
only because I've always felt like it's never gonna matter. Like no matter, because I've always heard that voting doesn't matter, like actual individual votes, like it's up to states. It was what it comes down to, is what I've heard.
That's so, and that's why it's interesting talking to you about this, because you don't care. My boys grew up here. I feel like I sound kind of odd.
No, you sound fine.
Do I? Okay. Yeah. So I grew up in a very political family, like very
involved,
motivated, very, involved in learning.
Yeah.
So it was part of my upbringing. I mean, I grew up on Rush Limbaugh. I don't even know if you know who that is.
I know who it is.
So I grew up on him and a bunch of other dudes, and so I've just always been around it. Okay. But as I've talked about before in another video, in another conversation, it never mattered. Like when I was growing up, my dad had friends of every walk of life,
both sides,
and it never mattered.
Yeah.
Like politics weren't what they are today. Like you've come of age in a time where things were starting to get real nasty.
Yeah.
Like all your teenage years and then your young adult years were all in a time where personal politics, like identity politics, were becoming a thing. And that wasn't the case for me growing up at all. Like you voted, you disagreed with people, you moved on. You went and had a beer, you went and had dinner.
Yeah, now it's nasty.
Yeah, dude. Now, like people, for instance, Sticker Mule. So Sticker Mule, have you seen any of their commercials?
No.
So Sticker Mule is a graphics
Sticker
company.
Mule. Yeah. I think you said like Sticker Mule.
Yeah, no, it is Sticker Mule.
Oh, okay.
But it's sticker.
Yeah.
And then mule.
Yeah.
So Sticker Mule is how Russell Brand says it.
Okay.
And Russell Brand teamed up with them like a year ago or something, maybe a little less. maybe at the beginning of the year, he teamed up with Sticker Mule, and they were sending out free sticker packs of Russell brand stickers. So you just like sign up, hey, yeah, send me a pack, and they send you a pack. And I love Russell brand, and so does your mom. So we both signed up. We both got our little sticker packs. There's actually a little mule sticker on one of our, I think on our Yeti. If you look at it, that's Sticker Mule. So based on a conversation you and I had the other day, before we went live, or before we started recording, you were talking about when you're talking to people about the podcast, you wish we had like a QR code or something we hand out. Well, that had me thinking. I was thinking about it, and it struck me. Like, I just think it was, in my opinion, it was the Lord going, hey, dummy, here's a fun idea. I've now gotten a handful of different things from Sticker Mule. You can go to them and have them, you can design whatever you want, and they'll print anything you want.
Oh, cool.
So I could print stickers for the podcast with the name of the podcast to make it easy to find, and we can hand out stickers.
Yeah.
And they're super cheap, and they're really good quality. So that came onto my mind yesterday, and I was talking, when it came to me, we're on our way to church, and I just looked over your mom, and I was like, what do you think about this idea? She's like, I love it. That's fantastic. So now I just need to create a design that I want. So today I wound up hearing that Sticker Mule has gone all in for Trump. They are endorsing him, backing him, and I happened to get on YouTube because I had signal for a little bit, got on YouTube, and one of the things I saw as an ad was a free Donald Trump sticker pack from Sticker Mule. So I was like, dude, hell yeah. So I signed up, did it, and then sent a link to a couple of people, including your mom. And then from there, I went to Sticker Mule because that redirects you. And then I started seeing all this stuff. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I started seeing backlash. People on the left who have probably never paid a dime to Sticker Mule for anything are in there, and they're on Instagram, and they're everywhere. And they're just like, oh, I can't believe you would back politics at all in this way. I'm going to someone else for stickers or whatever. It's like, dude, first off, you probably never spent a dime on one of their products. You probably see their ads, thought they were fun, and maybe thought about it, but haven't actually spent any money. And you're not going to because they endorse Donald Trump, a political figure, which circles back to kind of what we were talking about the other day.
I was going to say, it comes full circle.
So, but it's okay for literally everyone in Hollywood to endorse Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, whatever political person that they want, as long as they're on the left. But if you come out and say you're for Trump, they hate you. Someone said, "Oh, nice politics, bigot. I'll never be spending any money with you or whatever." It's like, wait a minute. First off, Donald Trump's not a racist, and I am so sick and tired of that talking point. It's been, if you do any research outside of CNN, you can see that it's not true. The dude has been in business with black people, Mexican people, Asian people. He doesn't give a shit. If we can make money together, let's be friends. That's who he is, and that's who he's always been. So it's just, I'm tired of hearing it. And then information was coming out the other day about how he had dated some black girls back in like the 80s or whatever. He was really good friends with Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg. You don't believe me? Go watch it. There's tons of video. Whoopi Goldberg asked Donald Trump to do a cameo on one of her movies, and he did it for free. Like, get out of here. The dude's not racist. Fucking stop. I'm so sick of people on the left. When they don't like you or something you have to say, you're a racist, a sexist, a bigot, a homophobe, whatever. Like, well, first,
I hear people say he's against liberty a lot too, which just I don't get. I don't even understand what that's supposed to mean, but I've heard it a lot. I've been doing like these last couple of days. I've been doing a lot more diving.
So have you ever heard of anything today?
I haven't heard anything today.
Okay, please continue.
I've been painting. But I've if he comes up on my feed, I'll actually watch the video and see what's going on with it. And there was one where it was like a couple of college kids arguing with two dudes on a campus, and one of their big talking points was he was against liberty. Okay. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what they meant. I was like, I don't know what this. That was their argument like the whole way through. Like every time that the people that were debating would give any sort of they would say any sort of information or fact or whatever they were putting onto the table, they'd be like, well, he's against liberty. And I was like, I don't know what that means. How are you against liberty?
They heard a talking point.
Okay.
Like someone said it and they ran with it.
Gotcha.
They're just little
I've
parrots.
noticed because a big thing that I've noticed in the little bit of research that I've been doing is you see a lot of the same thing repeated from
Across
a
the
lot
board.
of different people, and it seems very like shallow and
Scripted and-
scripted, yeah, and very I don't know, just like unthought provoking. Like
Yeah.
it's very
Lazy.
yeah,
Very lazy.
very lazy.
Which is why it is the most annoying thing in the world to be called racist, sexist, bigot, phobe, whatever.
Yeah, those come up a lot.
Like, well, people will say it to me.
Really?
Like about me because I'm a Trump guy. I'm like, I don't give a shit. You don't know me.
See, and that's so crazy to me because, again, this comes full circle to what we were saying about endorsing somebody. Just because you endorse somebody doesn't mean that you're all these things. It's like, it's unfortunate that there are some bad people that endorse Donald Trump, but it doesn't mean that everybody is that
There's
person.
an awful lot of good people endorsing him.
There's a lot of good people.
And there's a lot of bad people endorsing Kamala and Biden and
I
everyone else.
agree with you on that.
So it's interesting you say that. So to prove a point, to prove that I'm not this insane lunatic that we're discussing with this vague carte blanche umbrella
Yeah.
statement about people. Now, I think that people who are fully behind Kamala are ignorant to facts.
Okay.
I wouldn't call them stupid or
Just ignorant.
yeah, they're just you're ignorant.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that word means, then you're ignorant. So ignorant is a lack of knowledge. That's literally what that means.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're stupid as a person. Doesn't mean you don't have a high IQ. You don't have a degree. Whatever.
No, it just means you lack knowledge.
Yeah, dude, you're not paying attention. So today I got into an argument with somebody. I'll leave them nameless and titleless, but it got kind of heated. Like he got mad for a minute, which normally doesn't happen when we're having these discussions. He'd get annoyed, but he got mad. So he's like, I don't even know what the hell that means. And I was like, oh, you're pissed. So I was talking about the Overton window. Have you, in any of your research, you know what the Overton window is?
I don't. I heard it spoken on the JD Vance thing though.
Okay, so the
talked
Overton
about it a
window
little bit.
is talking about the political sphere of the country,
Okay.
and you can use it about any country, but typically it's just it's politics.
Okay.
So think of just a graph, like a timeline. Now you can also look at it a lot more in depth than that, and it's just a big square cut into 4 squares. So you have the center, and then you have going left, and you have going right. On the far left would be socialism. On the far right would be, I don't know, anarchy. So the center is the centrist, where everything kind of meets and where the few things are that we can all agree on. And in today's day and age, I can't think of a single thing the left or the right agree on.
No.
So over
They're
time,
very divided.
very divided.
Very
So over time, the Overton window has shifted from center to the left. So everything is more leftist in the realm of everyday life. And so I was arguing with this person, and he's like, I don't even know what the hell that means. Like, what's the Overton window? So I start trying to describe it, and he's just getting frustrated with me and telling me I'm wrong. And I'm like, I didn't come up with this. I'm too stupid to figure this out. Like, so it's pretty convoluted if you really get into it. You can really break down things. But it's a good way of figuring out where you set on the political spectrum. Like, there's tests you can take that'll kind of gauge vaguely where you are. I mean, they try to make it like pinpoint accurate. As we grow, things change. So you're always going to be kind of moving on this spectrum. But it could dial you in and be like, okay, you're, a little bit libertarian, very conservative, or a little bit Democrat, but also a little bit libertarian. Like, it kind of pins you into this grid system. So I'm discussing this. Well, as I was trying to describe it, I was trying to talk about JFK. Now, when JFK was in office, he did a lot of things that I don't necessarily agree with, but he did a few things I do agree with. And if you took him and everything, all of his policies and everything he did in the early 60s and mapped that over a timeline in the political sphere of today, he would be on the right. He wouldn't be a Democrat. He would be considered on the right because the Overton window has shifted that far left.
Yeah.
Politics have shifted that far left. And I brought this up, and he was like, no, he was a socialist. I was like, I don't believe that to be true. He was trying to keep us out of war. Like, he was a socialist. I'm like, whatever, dude. And he goes, yeah. I was like, well, people who voted for him, like, we're probably about, most people who vote, like 70% of the population that votes aren't big into politics. Like, I'm actually in the minority, like being this involved in politics and like following everything and all that. We're a smaller group. Most people just want to watch football, have cheap gas, and drink beer, I guess. Like, they just want to live a normal life. They don't really give a shit until it hits them in the pocketbook. So I'm saying that, and he goes, no, everyone who voted for him was a socialist. And I was like, I'm going to have to stop you right there, dude. Like, that's not true. And he goes, yeah, it is. They voted for a socialist. They're a socialist. And I was like, that is such a ridiculous thing to say. Not everyone who voted for him is a socialist. Most people voted for him because he was articulate, well-spoken. Like, apparently people thought he was good looking. I think he's kind of ugly, but whatever. At the time, I guess he was a really attractive dude. I mean, hell, dude, he got Marilyn Monroe, and she was a smoke show. Yeah. So, like, people voted for him based on his looks and his demeanor, not necessarily policy. And so I was like, but he was trying to keep us out of war. He was trying to be a strong leader. I don't think he was a socialist. Now, I wasn't alive at the time, and I wasn't like living in his days. So I don't know what it's like, but he wasn't. I wouldn't consider him a socialist. So we differ on that. Now, I'm not a JFK lover, but I think he was doing some good things, and he was definitely trying to give the black vote and all that other stuff. And then he was capped, I believe, by the CIA and LBJ, as I was explaining to you. But the blanket statement of anyone who voted for this man was a socialist is fucking absurd.
Yeah.
And
I think blanket statements in general are.
I agree.
Absurd,
I agree. So I try to avoid.
It's just
them.
unfair.
It is, and it's inaccurate.
Yeah.
Like, it's not accurate.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of Obama's voters back in any time today, a lot of them are voting for Trump. And it's because a lot of them have had time to realize, oh, wow, like, Obama was actually performing war crimes. He wasn't a good president. He didn't do any of the things he promised to do. Like, not a good president. I didn't vote for him ever. I didn't buy into any of his shit. He seems sleazy and sketchy at best, in my opinion. So I was saying this, and I'm like, dude, that's not true. Like, all the people today that are going to, in less than 2 weeks, we're going to be having another election. I do not believe that all the people who are voting for Kamala are insane, woke, leftist, crazy people.
Yeah,
I think there's
misinformed.
There's a lot of misinformed people. There's a lot of not informed at all people.
Or people that only get their information from political ads.
Exactly.
Which we've talked about this.
Yeah, dude, they're everywhere.
They're terrible, too.
Yeah.
They're horrible. I think on both sides of them, they're bad.
They're extremely inaccurate.
Yes.
So it's mudslinging. Well, Trump said a couple weeks ago, he goes, I'd love for the last month of this election to not be ugly and negative campaign ads.
Yeah.
But the other side isn't okay with it because they can't win on
Unless
anything
they
positive.
Smear. Yeah.
Well, dude, Kamala Harris, she filibusters. Someone asked her a direct question, like she just did a town hall with her side of the aisle. Excuse me. And she filibustered, which means, I don't know if you know what that means, but if you don't know what it means, sometimes I say things just to make sure anyone lost. So someone asked her a question, and then she goes on a 7-minute rant, not answering
about
anything,
nothing,
just talking. Now we can be unburdened by what has been. All this horse shit. Like, you're not saying anything. Tell the people something. Give them one policy. She's yet to give a policy. J.D. Vance came out and said, we're going to give everyone with a child 12 months or younger $6,000 or $5,000. And then she came out like a week later or within a week and said $6,000. We're going to give them $6,000. It's like, well, first off, it was JD's idea, and all you did was just up the ante.
Yeah.
Like, where's that money coming from? You're sending over trillions of dollars overseas that we can't afford in a recession. Like, I don't know where the hell all this money's coming from. So Trump
More
is,
debt.
dude, buy the freaking bucket, dude.
Yeah.
And that's all we've been doing for 4 years, printing money. That's where any of that stimulus money you got came from, or it was your own tax money given to you months in advance. So like right now, we're handing over all this money overseas, and we've got how many misplaced homeowners on the entire East Coast?
So many.
How many just devastated families are never getting any of their belongings back?
They're getting $750,
which is a loan.
which is a loan.
You have to pay that back.
Jeez.
You have to file paperwork online, which is pretty fucking hard to do when you don't have internet.
Yeah, exactly.
And then get approved, get $750, which is a loan that you have to pay back.
Jeez.
So those are our people
Yeah.
in this country.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is FEMA?
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found.
Wow.
But these are the people that are going to get some votes from somebody.
That's wild.
Like that alone. And guess who was there giving aid and giving money? Donald Trump, along with Elon Musk, who was trying to take and set up Starlink. And he was out on Twitter telling everyone, if you have a Starlink, get it out there.
Yeah.
Like, I'll replace it, whatever we need to do. Get your Starlink out there as close to these people as you can. And you know what happened? The government got involved and was preventing them from setting up Starlink.
Really?
They had to jump through all those legal hoops to get Starlink set up for these people.
Jeez.
Where's the government? Trump was there. Elon Musk was there. Where the fuck is Kamala? She's out there pretending to be somebody. Like, that alone should give you pause to think about who you're voting for.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't figure out if you want our people taken care of first, all right, fine. There can be an argument to help other people in the world. Cool. Like, we're one of the richest. We've definitely got the biggest muscles. But as soon as the financial market crashes, we're not going to be able to afford to keep the standing army that we've got. And we're not going to be able to afford all these fourth generation fighters and all these tanks and aircraft carriers and everything else.
Yeah.
So, it's just, dude, it's so freaking gross. Like, the whole situation is just disturbing. Like, you can call me crazy, warmonger, whatever. I don't believe we should ever be in any war.
Yeah.
Like, there should always be another way to avoid conflict where human life and human suffering.
Yeah, you're saved.
If you look at the current state of Kyiv, Ukraine,
Okay.
there are buildings that are hundreds of years old that are just decimated. That town is gone. You have entire families wiped out. You've got entire sections of a country just obliterated, no more. And it could have been avoided had someone stood up and said, hey, you guys agreed to all of these things to stop a war before. You cannot join NATO. We will not back you. We will come to your aid if Russia ever decides to attack you, but you're not joining us. You can't, because that is an all-out war. We're in a proxy war. We are funding another country to go to war with Russia.
Yeah.
There are a lot of American troops over there fighting that war, and Kamala saying we don't have any soldiers over there. That's total horseshit.
Are they like mercenary types?
There are those.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those, but there are actual U.S. soldiers there
Really?
that we're not supposed to know about because we're not supposed to be in war. If you and I are neighbors who don't like each other, and instead of me coming and fighting you, I have another neighbor from down the street come over and just start pummeling your house with rocks and sticks and sending their kids over to terrorize you and smash you in the shins every time you come out to get your newspaper. And there's money being involved passing back and forth here and groceries are passing back and forth here. Would you come over and think that I have anything to do with this war and be pissed at me because someone else is fighting our war? Like, it's very simple, dude. Like, we are at war with Russia. We're just using a third party.
Yeah, using Ukraine
a much smaller third party. The whole thing's stupid. But we shouldn't be there. And the war never should have happened. And the war wouldn't have happened. You know, under Obama, Russia invaded Ukraine and annexed Crimea, which is the large port side of their country.
No, I didn't know that.
We didn't bat an eye. We didn't do shit. We didn't send troops. We didn't go to war. We didn't send Ukraine aid. Obama did fuck all.
Yeah.
Then Trump's in office. Everything's cool. Russia's not trying to do anything. And then you get Biden in office, who was Obama's vice president. And all of a sudden, Russia's annexing more of Ukraine.
Yeah. Question.
Go for it.
So you hear a lot about media being controlled by the left
Yeah, most of it.
pretty consistently.
Most of it.
How does something like that happen? Like,
Law doesn't prevent it. That's the shitty thing.
yeah.
And in some cases, law does prevent it. But right now, all the law keepers don't. They want it.
Because to me, I mean, I'm learning about this stuff,
Yeah.
right? And to me, no war, low gas, small government, state run, like that seems like the most logical move. Like the most, like for everybody, that seems like that would be like the best thing to
Seems
have
like the most obvious thing.
out of all of the options that are available. But for some reason, it's the opposite is what everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people seem to support, which just doesn't make, I guess it just doesn't make sense to me.
Doesn't make sense to anyone else on the right.
Like, is there some like underlying thing on the left that makes people attracted to it, or is
So
what
this
like
is
what keeps it alive?
so a lot of it is money.
Okay.
So the welfare state. Are you very familiar with the welfare state?
Not really.
So welfare, government financing your lifestyle. You're getting paid from the government to survive.
Okay.
Now, it's not in and of itself. It's not a bad thing, but like every other system in this country, it has been corrupted and turned
abused.
into something gross,
Yeah.
and it's very abused. So, like where I grew up was a welfare area. It was very, very poor, primarily black neighborhood. A lot of people living on welfare. A lot of those people were on drugs or doing drugs or selling drugs or somehow involved in drugs. Most of the kids there were involved in gangs, like typical crime-ridden city. Welfare back in the 80s, 70s or 80s, I think it was the 80s, started paying more if there wasn't a father in the home.
Okay.
And that's when, I mean, you've heard the jokes. We both listen to the same comedians, black dudes banting their kids.
Yeah.
Well, initially it started off because there was incentive for the house to have no father. So dad would move out or whatever, and then the welfare state would pay more to the family because there was no father. And then eventually that just became a trend, and a sad trend, because it has been proven time and time again that people grow up more balanced, healthy, and more liable to succeed in life, both financially and emotionally, if both parents are in the home. And that's where you started getting higher crime rates in inner cities and things like that. So everyone attributes it to, just the black on black crime, black problems, whatever. It started with the government getting involved. I mean, black people have been getting screwed by this country for a long time. I'm not denying that. But some of these problems are also because people are unwilling to work and they'd rather live on the dole. They'd rather get welfare. So you've got the welfare state willing to give you money to not work and not do anything, and the more kids you have, the more money you get. Well, if the parents are being raised by that, they don't have a father, they got a mother who's getting all this money from the government, and that's what you're learning. That becomes what you're taught.
What you want to do, yeah.
And then the next generation keeps doing it.
Yeah.
So the government, in the guise of taking care of its people and being very, upstanding to their citizens, offer money, just throw money at the problem. That solves the problem, because that always solves a problem. Just throw money at it.
Yeah.
It'll go away. It's a reason most rich kids are so fucked up mentally.
Yeah.
Parents are lazy and just throw money at the problem, hoping it goes away, and eventually they turn into lunatics.
Yeah.
So you've got this weird dichotomy of money coming in for nothing, incentivizing you not to work. So I'm getting paid, I don't have to work. And actually, if I start working, I stop losing this money. And if I go get a job, it won't pay as much as the government. Why should I work? So it becomes this incentive not to work. And the only people willing to hand out those government handouts and welfare are the left.
Okay.
People on the right are like, no, we need to get people back to work.
Yeah.
We need to figure out how to bring men back into the homes, keep the families together. It's better for everyone if the parents are together to raise these children. Let's find ways to incentivize people to stay together, stop paying them as much, get them out there working again, contributing, becoming contributing members of society. And eventually, over just a few years, things will slowly correct themselves and we'll be fine. And then we're saving money on welfare. People are happier because they're providing for themselves. A fat paycheck from a hard day's work has always made me happy and feel accomplished. Mm-hmm. And then I'm better emotionally. I'm happier when I come home, all the fun stuff, and I can afford to pay my bills and buy some toys.
Yeah.
Like, it universally, mentally helps everybody. But the left they know, this is part of why. So the black community is the only group of people, if you can just lump people into groups by the skin color, which is fucking gross. Mm-hmm. But if you do that, the black community is the only community in this nation that votes over 90% for one party.
Democrat.
Really? So you've got, it's something like 92 or 94% of all black people vote Democrat. And that is it's slowly becoming less true.
Yeah. That
number's going away because of Trump. But he's a racist. So, black dudes fucking love him. But, I mean, Lil Wayne endorsed him in 2020, right?
I saw that.
So he's going to have even more reason to after I give you some information that just dropped today. But when you're being incentivized, I mean, it's fucking bribery. It's like, hey, dude, don't work. Here's, $6,000 a month because you got all these kids. Plus you can live in the Section 8 housing.
I want $6,000 a month.
And we'll give you food stamps on top of that. Like, you're just getting everything.
Yeah.
Where does that money come from?
Yeah.
My taxes. Taxpayers are footing the bill for that. So,
exactly.
So you're considered a burden to society financially. Well, on top of that, now we're paying for 2 proxy wars and everything else.
What's
on
the
top
second
of that.
one?
Israel.
Oh, Israel.
So now, because I'm a Christian, I'm very much in line with Jews. Like, I support Israel. Mm-hmm. But there's got to be another way to go through all this shit.
Yeah.
Like, you've got so much devastation and murder. Like,
to go back to what you said about bringing fathers back into the home, which was something that I completely agree with. But, like, it seems like nowadays the idea of bringing a man back into something is, like, taboo. Like, you're not supposed to do that.
Oh yeah.
Which is it just
furthers the problem.
It feeds into the whole
just
issue.
Just a nasty loop.
Yeah, that's what it feels like we're stuck in right now. Mm-hmm. Like, from an outsider's perspective looking in, it just seems like a nasty, vicious circle that I don't see
an end to.
And, like, I know that there are people that can make a difference in it, but I don't see somebody as like a solve all.
Yeah, there is no solve all. Like, I love Trump, and he can solve a lot of problems. He's not a one size fits all solution to all these problems.
Yeah.
The first thing he's going to do is drill, baby, drill, and get our gas prices down, which literally have a rippling effect through every product on every shelf in every store.
Because everything takes transportation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've got trains and big rigs. They get everything everywhere they need to go.
Is he going to lower down diesel prices too?
The diesel is actually the first thing that comes out of crude oil.
Okay.
So it takes less to do. Like, when you pull crude out of the ground, you run it through just a little bit of process, and that's diesel. And then you continue refining it to get unleaded fuel.
Okay.
So diesel comes out first.
Gotcha.
So why it's always been more expensive is fucking beyond me.
Yeah.
Because it takes less to do.
Maybe because it's not as popular as gasoline?
I think it's because it gets used more.
Okay.
All of your trains are running diesel generators. All of your big rigs are all diesel. Like, everyone running hot shots are running big diesel trucks. Like, diesel makes the world go round in this country, period. So I think it's a higher revenue stream, so they make it $1 more.
Yeah.
But he's going to drill, and he's going to shut down the flow of illegals coming over across the border.
What about imported fuels?
No, we were a net positive exporter the last time. The last time he was in office, we were drilling enough oil to supply all of America's needs and sell some.
Okay.
So we don't need anything from anyone
Where do
else.
they drill at? In
All over
United
the
States?
place.
Really?
Offshore of Texas is one of the biggest ones. The Gulf Coast is one of the biggest
Okay.
ones. So like where I grew up, you just walk up to the seawall and look out, and you could just see offshore rigs.
Really?
Yeah, and then the port is right there. So you also get a lot of import coming into Galveston Island. But then you've got it. What's that? The Dakotas was the pipeline that was getting got shut down. Alaska's a big one. Arizona has fuel. We're not allowed to drill it.
Is that because of the federal owned land?
All the federal bullshit. Yeah, dude. So Clinton was one of the big ones. So we had, I'm trying to remember what state. I don't know if it was here. I think it was here in Arizona. We've got huge oil reserves under our feet. And I think Clinton came in and commandeered a bunch of land so that we couldn't drill, and like named it federal land so it couldn't be drilled. Bill Clinton was real big on shutting down drilling.
What happens if I just start digging holes and I hit a well?
You'd have to dig real deep.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you do, man, that black gold, like
That's what I'm
Beverly
saying.
Hillbillies, dog.
Yeah, that's what I want to happen.
ooh.
Yeah.
If you pull that off, we are set for generations.
Yeah, I
That
know.
is generational wealth.
But so technically,
If you own the land, it's your
you gotta
oil
own the
rights.
land? Okay,
Yeah, it's
never
your oil rights. Yeah, it's kind of like water. Water's such a pain in the ass because you can own the land, but you don't necessarily own the water rights of the water table under you.
Did you ever hear the story of the blind girl finding water?
Huh.
It was a really old story, like the 20s or 30s.
Uh-huh.
But it was this blind girl in like Iowa, and she was able to find water by just feeling with her feet. And then they realized like 20 years later that if you dig anywhere at a certain depth, you'll get water.
Yeah, you've got water tables. Like my dad's new property, he owns the water rights,
Okay.
which is the biggest reason he bought the property because it had a well. But he wanted to once he verified he would own the water rights, he bought the water rights
cool.
too.
Yeah.
So he owns that water forever.
Nice.
So, yep, at some point I'll inherit water rights.
Nice.
So that's pretty rad. That's the biggest reason he wanted his newest property. So it'll be convenient once he starts doing all the farming and everything.
Having
on
your
it.
own water, yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Move everything off of his current property.
Is he going to do any growing on that land, or
Yeah,
just farming?
eventually.
Okay.
Eventually. Right now, it's going to be livestock.
Okay.
That's where all the livestock's. Well, as he progresses and has time to go,
So all the goats
fencing
and sheep and
everything.
stuff are going to go over there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Except for a couple. Like a couple of her milking goats are going to stay on their current property. But everything else, anything
like
for
goat's
slaughter. Yeah, it's good.
Huh.
But I'm not a big milk guy.
Okay.
So I'm like, it's all right.
I'm indifferent with it. I don't really like it.
But I grew up on.
I like goat's cheese.
I love goat's cheese.
So good.
Goat's cheese is fantastic.
Yes.
Well, she makes that.
I know.
So yeah, she doesn't make enough to sell it to me yet. But every time we go over there, I'm like, hey, break me off a slice. Give me some of that sweet cheese.
That sweet cheese. It is really sweet.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to get it all the time. My ex-father-in-law had dairy goats, whatever, milking goats.
One of my
And they
buddies,
did it
he's
too.
lactose, so he only eats goat cheese. So when
Yeah.
I go over to his house,
That's why she does it.
Yeah.
Because my stepmom is lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
Yeah, she makes. I think she makes milk. She makes butter. She makes cheese. She
It's
does
crazy
it
to
all.
think that we're the only mammal on Earth that drinks somebody else's milk.
I'm good with it.
It's
It's
just
never
weird.
bothered me.
It's just weird, right? It's a little strange. I mean, it makes sense because like our intellect and our IQ is a lot higher than most
Yeah.
animals.
If a dumb cow walked in and tried sucking on a pregnant woman's
yeah,
teats,
yeah.
it would be odd.
Yeah.
I admit. But
I'm surprised you can't buy breast milk on Amazon.
You can on the dark web, dude. Dark web.
Dark web.
You definitely can.
I
I've
know you
heard
can
of that
on the
shit.
dark web. Yeah.
That is so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Like
Powdered breast milk.
no, legit,
You
fresh,
can get you can get fresh breast
fresh
milk.
from the lady.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's kind of weird.
I've heard it's sweet.
It's very sweet. It's very sweet. I got 2 kids, dude. I know what it tastes like. But yeah, that's you can get some wild shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I've never been on the dark web.
me neither. But
I've always wanted to.
hey, you say it with respect.
Dark web.
Stuart. Yeah, so
Man, it's just like it's terrifying. Like we've been watching scary movies and shit this last month because it's spooky month, and the
This is way more
scariest thing
terrifying.
is talking about politics.
real life.
It's terrifying, dude. It's just there's so much of it that I don't understand, and there's so much of it that's like rampant with corruption that I'm just like, it feels like impossible to make any sort of difference.
It's not impossible.
I know
It's
it's
a
not
pain in the ass.
Yeah.
For sure. Hard work. The biggest thing is voting. Voting in your local elections is
Yeah.
the most important thing.
I've heard that before, that voting locally is important.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a dude who's not in our district, which makes me so fucking sad because he's Oro Valley, and I hate Oro Valley, but that's where he lives and that's his district.
Mhm.
So Eli Crane, local boy from here, moved to Yuma when he was a kid and lived there for a while, but now he's back to living. He's been living there back in Tucson for a while. Retired Navy SEAL, ran and is a congressman here in Arizona.
Mm.
Dude's a fucking baller, and he lives 15 minutes that way.
Really?
Yeah. So I wish he was in our district.
Yeah.
But our state keeps getting redistricted. Like 4 years ago, we got redistricted again.
Really?
I have to remember. I can never remember whose district I'm in. I think I'm in Daniel's district, which is why his sign's out front. I mean, we'd have it out there anyway because I want him to win whatever the hell district he's in.
Mhm.
But he owns a couple properties, and the one he's currently living in while they're building their ranch out like a stone throw from my dad's new place.
Mhm.
Currently, he lives right over here. He's a few minutes away.
Really?
But yeah, dude, it's gross.
Very gross.
And once these people get in office, they don't ever leave. But that's the one thing about Eli. He was like,
That's something you were
6 years, I'm out. I don't
Yeah.
want to do this any more than that.
you were telling me about that really freaked me out was the Congress people being in office for like 30-something years,
Forever, dude.
which is terrifying.
So there are a total of 535 members of Congress. 100 serve in the U.S. Senate and 435 serve in the House of Representatives.
How many?
535 total.
535.
100 in the Senate and 435 in the House.
Jeez.
How long do members of Congress terms last? Members of the House of Representatives serve 2-year terms and are considered for re-election every even year. So every other
2
year.
years, yeah.
Senators, however, serve 6-year terms, and elections to the Senate are staggered over even years, so there are only 1/3 of the Senate is up for re-election during any election. So
So they're just re-elected constantly, right?
yep. So you have 2 senators per state.
Okay.
And then House Representative, you represent a portion of the state known as congressional district, which averages 700,000 people. That's the number I couldn't remember earlier.
Yeah.
I was like, it's like 600,000 people, something like that. So 700,000 people per congressman. So, however, represent the entire state. State and Senate chamber differ. They're all fucking corrupt. But Congress is law. They're the ones who deal directly with law. How does a bill become a law? Passing legislation into law is a complicated and lengthy process between the House and Senate before the bill is presented before the President to be signed into law. For a thorough explanation of the legislation process, please see How a Bill Becomes a Law section. I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill.
So most of the corruption comes from Congress, though.
Dude, it comes from everywhere, bro.
I mean,
Senators are gross, too.
Most of it.
So, like, here we go. Joe Biden. Oh, Joey Boy Biden.
I wonder what he's doing now.
Corn Pop. Fucking sleeping somewhere.
Oh, Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe. Tuning on my shop with pressure, man. We do push-ups? We do a push-up competition? Come on, man.
I don't think he could do a single push-up.
Come on, man. But that's what he used to do.
Really?
When he was running for president, dude, yeah, he was like, anyone who got in his face kind of argued with him, like any just normal guy,
Yeah.
like a union guy, got in his face once and called him a fucking liar. And he's like, we want to do some push-ups, man? Come on, do some push-ups. Do a push-up competition. He was always, like, challenging people to do push-ups. It was fucking hilarious. It's like, sit down, old man. You're going to die. Delaware, Senate, blah, 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 blah. Barack Obama. Oh, Barack. United States Senator of Delaware from January 3rd, 1973 to January 15th, 2009.
Jeez.
73 to 09.
73 to 09. So almost 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
What's wild is like in any job for any person, you get complacent and you get like.
So put it this way.
Yeah.
So he's 81.
Yeah.
He did what's that number? 73 to 09. So was it 34 years? No, 40 something years.
Yeah, 40 something years.
So that's 40. Dude, why can't I do math right now? So that's 30 to 03. So yeah, 36 years.
Okay.
So 36 years as senator,
Mm.
and then 8 years as vice president.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes us up to 44 years of his
Yeah.
life, and then 4 years as president.
Yeah.
So 48 years of his 81 years in fucking office.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do that until I think he was 21.
Really?
So what the fuck?
So he was in his mid-30s when he first started getting involved with it.
Yeah, dude. So he basically only had 10 years of like his pseudo life that was
Yeah.
his.
Before he got into politics.
And then just fucking ran with it.
Yeah.
And he on the Senate floor used the N-word more than once.
Really?
Yep. He was talking about locking up young black men for all these different crimes and having special laws against young black men.
Really?
But he's not the fucking racist.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Kamala Harris in the 2019 the Democrat what you call it when they're arguing to become president debate. Thank you. The Democratic debates. Kamala Harris called him an old white racist.
Really?
More than once.
And she's her
And
VP?
she became the VP.
Jeez.
And then all of a sudden he was the greatest, most stand-up dude she'd ever heard of.
Corruption.
So all you have to do is go back and look at these videos and hear what these people say out of their own mouths.
Yeah. Well, this is something that gets me too, because we've been talking about it. The fact that like
what, man? What you talking about, man?
Everything in the last 30 years is fucking recorded, and you can go back and you can figure out all this information on your own.
And no one ever does.
And nobody does.
Just a bunch of dummies.
It's crazy.
Just a bunch of dummies running around, man.
It just doesn't make sense to me. So much of it doesn't make sense that's what I think that's what turns me off so much, is because
it's wild.
It's wild.
It's like one of the most insane things you've ever.
It is,
anyone
but
could ever imagine.
it's also the most important thing because it's what keeps everything together.
Keeps the lights on, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's scary. It's just, in its simplest term, it's scary. It's very scary.
So
because I feel like you can't trust anybody.
You can't, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's like oh shit. What was that? What was I? I was rewatching Dead Reckoning the other day, right?
Okay.
While I'm out here working on stuff. You came out, so
Mhm.
I was listening to it. So I'm working and halfway paying attention to Mission Impossible movies, and which I do at least once a year. And there's a certain scene where they all meet up to try to figure out like getting the keys,
Okay.
right? That meeting at the bar,
Mhm.
and the like head villain is talking to the girl who has half of a key, and she goes, "How can I trust you?" He goes, "You can't. You can't trust anyone.
Mhm.
Can't trust what anyone says. Don't trust anyone."
Mhm.
Like he makes it very clear. Don't trust anybody.
anyone.
Period.
Yeah.
Not don't trust anyone here. Don't trust anyone there. No, don't trust anyone.
Mhm.
And that's how I've gone through most of my life. Now I've got trauma that makes me feel that way,
Mhm.
so it's kind of natural. But you have to take everything in with a grain of salt until someone. And it took a little while for your mom to like understand how I operate.
Mhm.
And she realized one day because I said something, and she's like, "What?" She's like, "Oh my God, I just now finally figured you out." And we'd been together for years. She was like, "I just figured you out." I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You don't trust anything anyone says until they do something."
Mhm.
I said, "Yeah, that's right. That's exactly how I operate. Words are nothing. Words are sound.
Mhm.
Actions." And it's something I grew up with. Actions speak louder than words. I
Mhm.
can make a promise all day long, but unless I deliver on that promise, there's no reason to
Yeah.
believe what I have to say. Now, I mean, I'm a fairly ignorant dude when it comes to a lot of things. And then there's other things I'm only halfway educated on. And then there's things I know very well. But I think that's true of everybody. And until I see what kind of person you are, I live very much by the Martin Luther King Jr. speech. I don't give a shit what someone looks like. Couldn't care less who you're sleeping with unless it's an underage person, in which case bad things should happen to you. But I don't give a shit about any of that, which is why I'm able to be friends with people on the left. Like, okay, I disagree with you, but I still enjoy your company. Like, I'm capable of that. Now, some people aren't. And hey, man, teach their own. Like, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't like my opinions, and that means you don't like me anymore. All right, cool, man. I'll keep trucking. Like, I've got family I don't talk to. I don't mind losing a friend. So, like, I've got broad shoulders. They can handle it. So it's wild to me that people will just go, oh, well, he said this, so it must be true. Oh, well, so-and-so online said that Trump did this thing this one time, so it must be true. It's like, really? Did you see it? Did you for yourself hear it or see it? No. Then why are you trusting what someone else said?
Yeah.
Because if they can't get the fucking weather report accurate, I'm not going to trust anything they say about another human being.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, Holmes, you can go outside, look at the clouds, and be like, yeah, it's going to rain like a motherfucker. And then come in and go, oh, 20% chance of rain. And then it floods. You've got all that fancy-ass equipment, and you still got it wrong?
Yeah.
Like, Arizona's got bipolar weather. I never trust them. There's actually a running joke in the house because your mom checks the weather every day, and she used to tell us the report every morning.
Yeah.
Like, before the boys would go to school, before I go to work, she'd be like, okay, guys, it's 3% chance of rain. So we're like, oh, so it's going to flood? Like, because it was always wrong.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's 100% chance of rain. We're like, oh, dude, it's not going to rain then. Like, you can almost never count on it. You're better off walking outside and looking in the sky and being like, oh, there's some clouds over there. Look pretty dark. It might roll in later.
Yeah.
I'll take a jacket with me just in case.
Yeah.
Like, and you'd be like, oh, yeah, it's sunny and it's 1,000 degrees. Not a chance in hell it's going to rain today. Like, you just figure it out for yourself, which is what people should be doing with politics.
Yeah.
Do the research for yourself. Don't rely on some other talking head. And I don't care who it is. Like, I don't trust Fox News the same way I don't trust CNN. I don't watch any of them. And some people will be like, well, what? You don't trust Fox? So, have you heard about the voting machines in Maricopa County 4 years ago?
You told me about them.
So, the voting machines, for anyone out there who doesn't know, here, I'm trying to pull it up. Voting machines. Why did I just blank the name of them? Oh, damn it. Dominion.
Company owned by,
Dominion. Dominion Voting. So Dominion owns Fox. So Fox News, so here's the claim. Fox News and Dominion Voting not owned by same company, contrary to online posts. Dominion Voting Systems sued Fox News for defamation, alleging the news organization spread lies about the company after the 2020 election. After the suit was settled, social media posts falsely claimed that Fox and Dominion Voting Systems were owned by the same company, BlackRock. BlackRock does not own any shares in Dominion Voting Systems. It's not that BlackRock is involved. It's that there's one man who owns shares in Fox and Dominion.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. It's a half truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not owned. It's not owned by BlackRock.
Who's this by?
This is by, who wrote this? Just factcheck.org. I don't trust any of these fucking people. I trust them as much as I trust the people who say Longlegs is worth watching. So, yeah, dude, I told you I was going to rope it into every video.
I know.
So you beat me to it on the last one. Oh, no. Maybe it was 2 videos. No, it was the last one. Because the last one we were talking about Disney and you brought it up.
Yeah.
Because the one before that, I brought up that list. And I definitely shit on Longlegs. Fuck Longlegs. It's a terrible movie. Don't watch it.
Don't watch it. It's not good.
So, again, man, like, don't trust. I'm sure you've seen it. And I joke about it all the time. So I say bonjour a lot. And I say it for 2 different reasons that are equally funny to me because it's just the way my weird-ass brain works. The first reason is, have you ever seen Snatch?
Yeah.
So Bullet Tooth Tony, he's bashing the dude's head in the door. and then his car phone rings and he leans in and picks it up and he goes,
Bonjour.
bonjour.
Yeah.
So I started saying that, and that's how I answer my phone most of the time. And that's what I say, like, when
Yeah,
you walk in,
when
hey,
you
I'm
come
like,
in and
hey,
say it.
bonjour.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is there was a commercial many years ago about, was it a Geico commercial? I don't remember what commercial it was now, but there's a commercial where this dude's walking down the sidewalk and this lady and this other couple come walking by, and the lady and the guy know each other. So they start talking, and she goes, well, yeah, I read it online. It must be true. And he goes, what? And this guy shows up. Oh, no, it was a guy that the third guy showed up, or this third person showed up. And he goes, and one guy goes, who's that? She goes, oh, this is my date. He's a French supermodel. And he goes, bonjour.
I've seen this, yeah.
And he's clearly not a model.
French, yeah.
So not French,
Yeah.
not a model,
Yeah.
like kind of a dumpy looking dude.
Yeah. I've seen this commercial.
So it's one of the most like on point ads there's ever been, because people believe everything they read online.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh fuck, that must be true. So the media is the exact same way.
Well, you get a lot of confirmation bias too. You get a lot of people that search something, find the information
and
that they want to hear.
They go, oh,
and then
I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I've been guilty of it, but I try to never be guilty of it.
Do you check multiple sources?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I check all over the place.
Yeah.
And I try to go to the source. So if I hear something, I'm like, oh, so-and-so said this, I don't just run with it unless there's video evidence, like they're standing in front of a room full of people being recorded and they said X, Y, and Z, which is why I bring up that Kamala Harris called Joe Biden a racist.
Yeah.
Because she said it on live television.
Yeah.
So
it's out there.
It's
for people
out
to
there.
see.
Like it happened during a live event. Don't have any evidence proving that Trump has ever done anything racist.
Yeah.
No proof. You just have people saying it.
And
then
with it.
And then by default, I'm a bigot because I support him.
See, and again, coming back to it, I thoroughly disagree with people putting that blanket statement over people just because they endorse or support somebody specific, because it doesn't show your character on who you're.
It shows in my opinion, the person who calls someone a racist for something like that, it shows their character.
I agree. I know. I completely agree.
Like it shows you're very close-minded.
But you supporting somebody doesn't show your character.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Like, and which is why I defended all the people who voted for JFK, and I defended to a degree people who were going to vote for Kamala and people who voted for Obama and Biden. Like, these are low information people who don't do their research because they don't give a shit.
I couldn't
and they
imagine
just vote.
voting for Kamala.
Dude, not me.
What you
not
see,
this fellow.
What you see is wild. Like her ability to just backpedal and like make up stories, like very blatant stories.
Things that have been
like
recorded live on television, and then
just
within a few years,
like it didn't happen.
Yeah, like in CNN. So she did a town hall with CNN, which I was referencing earlier. The people, I think the left are getting sick of her.
Yeah,
like the news media, because they've been coming at her pretty good.
Really,
like when she's there with them. They don't back off. Like 60 Minutes, which is historically a pretty leftist organization, like they tried going hard on Elon Musk, and Elon just wasn't having it. Like he just started bopping that dude. It was great. So this dude went hard on Kamala and didn't let her pull away. Well, then she just did this other one with a very leftist dude asking her the questions and talking to her, and she kept trying to filibuster and kept trying to talk around in circles, and then he always brought her right back to the same question and stung her with it again. He didn't let her off the hook.
Yeah,
he was just rope-a-doping like a mofo, and it was a beautiful thing to watch because she wouldn't answer a question. So like he asked her about the border. She was very much against Trump building the border wall. Obama started the border wall. Obama initially in 08, so 07, ran on a secure border.
Yeah.
And people seem to forget that. Like, he started the border wall. It's the one thing he did that I can think of that I'm like, yeah, dude, like, I agreed with that. You screwed everything else. I'm a gun guy. It was impossible to get bullets when he got in office because everyone went out and bought bullets because he's such an anti-gun guy.
Yeah.
He's a gun grabber. And that's my biggest problem with the left. Like, I can disagree with you on policy and how to get to where we're going all day long. But yeah, if you come out and say, like, I criticize Trump, that's one of the things I criticize him for hard on, was his bump stock gun ban. Like, he banned bump stocks. Now, he eventually overturned it, but it took a long time, and it took a lot of people slapping him on the hand, being like, hey, stupid, you just pissed off your entire demographic.
Yeah.
All these people love their guns. Maybe don't fuck with that.
Yeah.
So, but he's never been a gun guy. So, like, I get where he got bad information. He was being fed bad information by people.
The AK-47.
So, yeah, he's
S-gas.
He's never said anything stupid except for he was going off of someone else. But, oh, it's an AK-47. No, dude, it was an SKS.
Yeah.
Not the same gun.
Yeah.
They might shoot the same bullet, and there the similarities stop.
Yeah.
Not the same gun. Oh, it's basically an AK. Really?
Very big gun.
Okay. So where are your trunnions at? Oh, you don't have them. Oh, so you're not an AK. Like, yeah, get the hell out of here. Like Brandon Herrera, the AK guy, would tear that one apart.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure he did.
He did. But that's something that isn't like outside of the realm. At least he didn't call it an AR-47 like all these anti-gun people do.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, talking about this. So
when you put a magazine on a clip and you're out of stock and it becomes a higher caliber.
Exactly. So yeah,
have you
just
seen the videos
words.
that people do?
Oh,
where they,
dude,
like,
it's so great when they put all the things together. I love it so
it's
much.
So fun. You see, like,
this is a clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, from an M1 Garand, because guns don't use clips unless they're old rifles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called a magazine. But yeah, that one, I saw this one dude. He was like, yeah, he did all that, and he had his clip attached to his magazine to talk like.
Yeah. And
you know, it's a bigger caliber.
Yeah, now it's a bigger caliber.
Dude, there's this old movie called Johnny Dangerously with Michael Keaton, and it's got a huge cast.
Okay.
And it is one of the most fantastic comedies ever written. Dom DeLuise plays the Pope in it at one point. Like, dude, the cast is all star.
Nice.
So the main villain, the movie takes place with like was it like the 40s, like the 30s or the 40s, like mob. So Johnny Dangerously, Michael Keaton is like an underboss.
Okay.
To like the local crime boss, and the crime boss is retiring, so Johnny Dangerously takes over. And this other guy who's vying for control of the streets, he's like the most ridiculous fucking human, but he's got this insane gun, and he pulls it out, and he goes, you know what this is? It's an 88 Magnum. And then this little guy goes, it shoots through schools. He goes, it shoots through walls. And anything on that side of the wall, it goes through that. And then it goes through the next wall. Like, he just, this insane 88 Magnum.
88 Magnum.
So, yeah, dude, it's like the most ridiculous thing. And that's what comes to mind when these people start talking about that which they know nothing.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's an 88 Magnum.
Yeah. Or when people call it assault rifle.
Oh, dude.
Instead of,
so today.
Like AR stands for assault rifle.
Nope. Armalite rifle.
Yeah.
So this is the dude with his 88 Magnum.
Nice.
You shouldn't hang me from a hook, Johnny. My mother hung me from a hook once. He's got the bad guy. Oh, so then there's the other guy. I do this a lot. You fought again, ice hole. So he doesn't cuss, but he butchers cussing.
You fought again, ice hole.
Yeah, because he's got this really thick accent.
Yeah.
He goes, you fought again, son mama bitch. You fought again, ice hole. And Johnny calls him on it a couple of times. Dude, the film is great. I got it on DVD.
Okay.
So 88 Magnum. Here we go. We'll play this. Hopefully I don't get clipped.
I got something to stop him. They made it for him special. It's an 88 Magnum. This goes through armor, then it goes through the victim, through the wall, through a tree outside. It shoots through schools.
And the whole movie is that way.
Yeah.
So that's what comes to mind when these idiots go like, it's an AK-15. It's an AR-47.
Yeah.
It's a this. It's a that. Clip, magazine, scope,
Yeah.
bigger caliber.
Yeah.
Go boom.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you don't know what the
Buzzwords.
hell you're talking
Yeah.
about, son. So today, oh, dude, this is so great. I love that we're talking about this. Dims, fire, guns, shoot, reporter. Democrat Lucas Kuntz, injured reporter while shooting. Gun safety experts had these things to say. So,
So a Democrat went shooting.
a bunch of them.
Bunch of them.
Which didn't go well.
And somebody got injured.
Flyaway medal from Missouri Democrat Senate candidate's rifle grazes reporter at campaign event. They were shooting at steel targets from approximately 15 feet away with an AR-15.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Why so
steel,
close?
because they don't know the difference. I'd like to know where the range officer was for this shooting.
Seriously.
Like when we go out in the big group, I mean, you've only been out
That's where
there
things
with us one
ricochet.
time. Exactly. So my dad is always like the head range commander.
Yeah.
And then like me and Rachel kind of, if we have that many people, we're all kind of monitoring the situation at
Yeah.
all times. So we're making sure that no matter who's at where, like at our table, I was kind of, bouncing around. Who needs what? What do you need? Oh, you need more bullets. You need this. Hey, you're having a problem. Come to me. I'll help you clear or take something apart. Whatever. Like whatever you need,
Yeah.
I'm there for. And I'm primarily focused on safety. Everything else is tertiary. So you've now seen it. Very safe. Everyone is very aware if we want to go downrange and set up a new target or inspect targets or whatever. There's a lot of communication happening.
Yeah.
How close were we at any given time to a steel target?
Like 20 or 30 feet.
No, 20 or 30 yards.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yards.
Yeah, minimum.
Yeah.
So, like, we were within like 20 feet on the paper targets.
Yeah.
But on all the swinging targets and
Yeah.
all the gongs and everything, like, they were
20, 30 yards.
Yeah, they were a pretty good clip away.
Yeah.
And most of what we were shooting was pistol caliber
Yeah.
anyway. But if we broke at anything bigger, like when those guys left, when
Yeah.
Ron and his buddy left, remember we moved farther back and busted out with some of the bigger rifles.
Yeah.
You don't shoot that close.
No.
Because bullets go boom
Yeah.
on steel.
Yeah.
They were within 15 feet, so a reporter caught shrapnel.
Jeez. That's hilarious.
Missouri reporter was injured slightly Tuesday when a rifle fired by Democrat U.S. Senate candidate during a campaign event caused metal fragments to hit the journalist in the arm.
I thought
Why
Democrats
was he-
hated guns.
They do.
Okay.
Right now.
This is another reason for them to hate guns.
Dude, right? So what's great is in this, they're not calling it an assault rifle. They're calling it an AR-15
Okay.
or a hunting rifle.
Yeah.
They keep using different words. It's not an
Assault
assault rifle
rifle.
right now.
Yeah.
Right now, it's
Well, because a
not.
Democrat was using it.
Mhm. It's only an assault rifle in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
It's only a weapon of war
In certain circumstances.
when Tim Walz is talking about it.
Yeah.
Because all that time in war he did. The other important key takeaway is that the AR-15 has never once been used in war. It's not a war rifle. The M4 is a war rifle.
Yeah.
It looks similar, and that's where people freak out. It's the scary one.
Yeah, that's the automatic rifle.
What's great is I could take out... Actually, I'm going to. Bear with me.
Oh, I thought you had an AR just tucked in there.
Yeah, no, not in here. I thought I had... I was pretty sure. I guess I do still have them all saved. Stay in there. So, do an example. This is a 5.56. This is what comes out of an AR-15. This is a 308. Comes out of an AR-10. The camera may not pick this up,
Put your hand behind it.
But you will notice a very big difference in the size, weight, width, length, everything, grains of these two bullets. The 308, typically you can get with a, like mine. Mine doesn't look like a big scary gun. Mine's a sporterized rifle. It's a bolt action 308 with a big ass scope and everything else. Looks like a really big hunting rifle. But the black gun is the scary one.
Yeah.
Of the two, which one goes boom and which one goes pew pew?
308.
That's right. So they go, oh, that's the scary rifle.
No.
Of the two,
Yeah.
one's a little scarier than the
308's
other.
way more intense,
So,
especially on an AR platform.
oh yeah, dude, my AR-10 goes thump, thump, thump.
Yeah. It does.
But my 308 rifle, I mean, it's got some heft
Yeah,
to
it
it.
does.
Like, it's got some ba-boom to it.
Yeah.
But it is not the same thing
No.
by a long shot. And they're trying to say that that's the scary round. It's basically...
Oh, the 5.56 is a very just high speed.
It's a high-powered 22.
Yeah.
Which is why it's a .223 round.
Yeah.
Just a hair bigger than a 22. It just has a lot more oomph behind
Yeah.
it. Just a high-powered 22. Like, I mean, that's a really underwhelming way of saying it, but
Yeah,
caliber-wise,
simplified.
the 308 is .308. Like, it's a 7.62.
It's
like,
big.
This is the same thing that the AK shoots.
Yeah.
They're not the same gun.
No.
Like, get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the whole fear of the AR-15 is wild.
Because it's a scary black gun, dude. Black guns matter. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it's very scary. I think it's fun to shoot.
Dude, what's great is I guess it was like 6 years ago.
That
maybe
AR,
longer.
that AR-22 that guy had was fucking super sweet.
Dude, those things are so rad.
So fun, dude.
I want one.
It was so much fun to shoot.
I
I was like,
want
this
one.
thing's awesome.
What's really great is if you get into the subsonic rounds,
Yeah.
they sound like a CO2 gun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I fired a few of those.
That's awesome.
And then if you've got, now you really lose ballistics on this, but if you
Really?
use a subsonic with a silencer,
Just quiet.
that's John Wick level reality.
Yeah.
Like all the shit that isn't real. Like I have fired many a firearm with a can on it, and it definitely reduces the sound.
yeah, but it's not like the movies.
But no, you're not like John
Yeah.
Wick walking through the mall going
yeah,
like an air gun where no one notices.
the Mythbusters episode on it was awesome.
Yeah, it's the decibels are there still.
Yeah.
You still need hearing protection unless you want to have a headache for the rest of your day.
Yeah.
But you do a just a subsonic 22. Clink, clack, 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 clack. Like just real quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, a buddy of mine had one. It was his varmint gun because he lived out like where he could shoot in his backyard. And I was like, dude, is that a BB gun? Because it was also smaller. Like everything on it was smaller, but he built it for his kid. So when they go out shooting, his kid had something fun.
Mhm.
He was like, oh, I can run with a gun like Dad's. Like it looks the same.
Mhm.
But he could but I mean, my boys were firing an AR-15. What was Richter when I built my first one? I don't know, he was like 8.
Okay.
Yeah, he might have been 8 years old. I mean, like I was supporting him and everything, so he could hold it up and it didn't like
Take your
shove him
shoulder out,
around or
yeah.
whatever. Like I was holding him and helping hold the rifle in the exact right spot, so it wasn't gonna unload his freaking shoulder. But yeah, he's been firing that rifle since he was little. I got pictures of him. I got pictures of both of them. Daniel was big enough to where he could actually support the rifle, so I got pictures of him just on his own. I'm right behind him, but I got some pictures of him in a semi-prone position, just popping shots. They're both very accurate with firearms, but they've been doing it for so long now, and they do it fairly. I mean, we haven't been able to do it for like the last 2 years because things have been just hectic, and bullets were very pricey.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to go all the time. Like back when I lived out there, we were going all the time. I was going on my way home from work like 3 days a week minimum. Yeah, because it was on my way home where we went.
Yeah.
It was on my way home. So I just roll in after work. Back when I was a single dude,
Yeah.
just go. I'd take like, especially if I just built something or just worked on something.
Yeah.
I just leave it in my truck all day while I was at work, and on my way home, go out there. I got a few videos that are
Sounds
just
fun.
me. Oh, dude, it's great. but rounds were also
Way cheaper.
way cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the only reason I haven't gotten into building another build is like I've got the worst timing. When I built the AR-10, I decided to do it right before the world lockdown. And when the world shuts down for things like that, gun guys typically get scared and they start hoarding, just like toilet paper with regular people.
Mm-hmm.
Like they hoard ammo, they hoard gun parts, they start doing new builds. They want to be ready for the apocalypse. I wasn't preparing for the apocalypse. I just always wanted to build an AR-10 and finally had like finished a few, like I'd finished a truck project. I didn't have anything going on. I was like, cool, I'm finally going to build an AR-10. And then ordered a couple of parts, and then everything got so expensive it took me over a year to finish building.
Oh, wow.
Because I was not going to make it be a $3,000 rifle.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to build it for under $1,000, and I kind of did. Like I'm right around the $1,000 range, but I would be way under if it wasn't for a few of my parts being like really expensive name brand.
Okay.
Like my entire free floating handrail was like $280
Okay.
by itself. And then my scope rings, the mount for the scope was like $150 because Aero Precision is just really expensive. I didn't want it, but it's all I could get my hands on.
Gotcha.
So I've got some really nice aluminum on there, but otherwise the rest of the rifle only cost me like $400 to build.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But it's very expensive to shoot.
Yeah.
So
The 308.
yeah, very expensive, but very fun. So these dudes go out, and what's funny is my youngest son, when he was very young, was shooting this AR-15, and there was another, I think it was a senator, maybe a congressman, one or the other, like 7 or 8 years ago, who said it gave him, he wrote this whole long like article or whatever for the news, saying it gave him PTSD, like the sound and the impact from the round on his shoulder and everything. Yeah, it gave him PTSD.
Pussy.
Gave him a headache for like 4 days. Like, yeah, it screwed him up. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I have an AR-15? Like, dude, the first time I ever fired one, because like most of my friends had like handguns, shotguns, rifles, like, but they didn't have any of those. And then I befriended one dude who's a very good friend, but he was building ARs. And I'd always be over there when he's getting new parts and stripping them down and like educating me on them. And then one day he's like, hey man, I'm going to go shooting. You want to go? And I was like, sure. So we took out some ARs. And this was when bump stocks first came out. And he had one. And he was like, man, check this out. And he's just like, blah, 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 blah. I was like, whoa. And he goes, here. This is the first time I ever fired an AR was with a bump stock. So bump stocks make it real easy to fire really quickly. Yeah. You still have to do this, kind of.
Yeah.
But that's the first time I ever fired an AR-15 was with a bump stock, and that thing was sweet.
Yeah.
But then from there, like, he bought an M203. Like, the dude got crazy, but he bought a 338 Lapua with a 308 knockdown set. So it was this kit, cost him, it was like $11,000. So you flip this Pelican case open, and you've got the rifle with a secondary set of parts, like a barrel and a few other things. And I'm like, what's this? And he goes, this is the baddest gun I own. I was like, okay, what is it? He goes, it's called a 338 Lapua. I was like, okay. He goes, it's a sniper rifle. I was like, oh. He's like, no, like legit, this is a military sniper rifle. So I was like, cool. And he goes, check out the scope. And he had me bench rest the rifle and stare off. And he lives out there near my dad. He lives by Circle S. So you can look back out to the west and the mountain ranges at Silver Bell Mine. He was like, he had the scope zoomed all the way out to the least power. And he goes, can you count out saguaro on that ridge behind Silver Bell? I was like, yeah, a little bit, like there's a lot of them. And he goes, okay, just stay there, honed in. And he just started dialing in the scope and just zooming in. And it got to the point where I could point out individual saguaro.
That's crazy.
From, I mean, what's that, 11 miles away?
Yeah.
Like, just, I was like, dude, this is nuts. He did a few, he went out and did a range day and did a few 1 mile confirmed shots. And then he goes, okay, that's all I needed it for, and wound up selling it. So he got like, I think he got like $5,000 just for the scope. And then he traded someone the rifle who didn't need the scope. So he sold the scope individually and then traded the rest of the kit for a ton of money and a bunch of other guns and stuff that he really wanted. So I was like, dude, he goes, you want to buy it? And I was like, I can't afford that, dude. Like, if I could, I would absolutely buy that rifle. That thing was so sick. But yeah, there's some fun guns, and a 338 Lapua makes that look little
tiny baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, when these anti-gun people get a hold of guns, weird things happen, dude.
Yeah.
But that happened today.
That's funny.
And I just I almost pissed myself laughing when when I heard it.
What were you saying about Lil Wayne? You said something
So
else.
Lil Wayne, so he endorsed Trump back in 2020.
2020. I remember that.
1 second.
He was wearing the MAGA hats and everything.
There in a few. So Trump just announced that he's going to be voting on a here we go. I'll just pull it up. Trump bill. So there is a former president's effort to gain support from key Democrat constituencies. So Trump just came out and announced. So even though he's always been a teetotaler, very straight edge guy. He will be. I'm trying to find the exact thing. In Florida this year, there's a ballot initiative to make marijuana legal, and he just announced he will be voting yes for it.
Okay.
And he will be working to make it legal, period.
Gotcha.
In the nation. Lil Wayne's going to be very happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
So he did that, and then Trump... He also just announced... Damn it. Why can't I find that? He also just announced reducing sentences, changing the law to reduce sentences on people that are doing time for
drug charges,
for particularly marijuana charges. So if you're doing 8 years behind an ounce or whatever, whatever that's example, like, he's going to be looking to get people out of prison on, which has always baffled me that Kamala Harris put more black dudes away for drug charges than anyone else in the state of California, and people they just gloss right over that.
Yeah.
Because she's strong black woman. Well, and you need to look out for your your fellow black Americans. Like, well, where the fuck were you?
Where were you when you were
district running?
Attorney, right?
Yeah, district attorney, and you're just like not doing anything. You're actually keeping people in past their release date.
Yeah.
Which is illegal and insane because you needed them to be free firefighters. Like, it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
She put more black dudes away for longer periods of time on drug charges than any other person in California or in the nation anyway. And then she's running on like she's this friend of the people. It's like, you were putting black dudes away for drug charges, like marijuana charges. Here's the thing that's really just destroyed my mind. So in the 2016 election, that's when California legalized recreational use of marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
There are still people in California prisons doing time on marijuana charges.
Mm-hmm.
How did that not immediately commute their
Release them?
sentences?
Yeah, I know. I agree.
That is so beyond me. And I don't smoke weed anymore. Like, I don't do any drugs anymore. Like, I haven't in a long time. But still, if you're going to make it legal, and my opinion on whether or not it should be is irrelevant.
Mm.
You've now made it legal in your state recreationally.
Mm-hmm.
Why are people who are charged for the usage of it in any capacity?
Yeah.
And if you're legally allowed to carry X amount of ounces or whatever, like you've got all these weird like allowances.
Yeah.
Then immediately, very minimum, anyone whose charges were for less than what the legal carry or usage or whatever is now.
Yeah.
Needs to be set free now.
I agree.
Commute their sentences, get rid of their felonies, let them become normal people again.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also very much of the opinion, and this is where I kind of fall weird in my own political party, but this is the libertarian in me. If you've done time, and I know we've talked about this, but I'm saying this on record. If you've done time and you've been released, you shouldn't be walking around with that big fucking F hanging over your head, keeping you from having legal rights and getting a good paying job. You want to change America. Let's change America. If someone did their time, say you robbed a bank, you did your 15-year bid or whatever, you didn't do anything crazy while you were in there, and you've been released, you, by definition of what the purpose of fucking prison is, you have now done your pittance for your crime. The biggest reason people are repeat offenders is because the system is designed against them.
Yeah.
The moment you're out, you have a hard time getting a job because you have to check that box. You have a hard time finding a place to live. Like,
yeah, everything.
Everything's against you, and then it's really easy for you to reoffend because, oh, well, I was making money selling pot when I went in. I don't have any other skills, or no one else will hire me even though I have skills. I'm just going to go back to, I'm going to revert back to, after a month of not doing this, not doing anything, especially for people on parole who got out early. They don't want to go back and finish their stint.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, I'm out 4 years early. I don't want to go back and finish my sentence.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get a good job. I want to go back to just living my life. But then no one will hire me, and my PO violates me, and now I'm back in prison. Or no one will hire me, so now I go back to the street life, and then I get offended. I reoffend, and I go back in, and plus now I've got extra charges. Yeah. It's this vicious, nasty circle, dude. And I feel like I give way more shits about people than anyone on the left who's saying that they care about people and that's their entire intent.
Yeah.
It's like, well, wait a minute. If we care about people, let's care about people. These are Americans being locked in cages. Now, okay, in some cases, yeah, they deserve to go away. They pulled off some heinous shit. But once they've been released, let them live their lives.
Yeah.
They were nonviolent. Let them get their Second Amendment rights back. It's a God-given right everyone should have. Now, if they were out robbing people at gunpoint and all this other crazy shit, okay, there's an argument to not let them get their rights back. But you weren't out hurting nobody. You defrauded somebody. Like, you wrote a bad check, or you stole checks from a mailbox and wrote checks. Like, no weapon was involved in your crime. You shouldn't be held back from being able to protect yourself.
Yeah.
You should also get the right to vote. Like, you should get your rights back, and then you shouldn't have to worry about checking some box on a McDonald's application or whatever. Like, people are going to do their background check on you. They're going to see what you did, and they're going to decide whether or not they want to hire you or not. Like, it's as simple as that. Let the people decide. I don't know, dude. The whole system's fucking rigged.
I agree.
And it's nasty. And I've never done time. Like, I've been arrested once. I've told the story on here as a teenager, underage drinking. I was raised by cops. Like, I stayed out of trouble for the most part. I didn't get caught getting in any of the trouble I got in. So, like, I don't really have a horse in the race, but it's gross, and it's people being treated unwell, and it's people's lives being destroyed for forever. I mean, my brother did a lot of time, and it's his fault, but he shouldn't have to check a box saying he's a felon. He did his time. Like, he wasn't a violent offender. He got hit with some stupid stuff because he did stupid stuff. He won his stupid prize. He did his time. He's done. Let him just be a normal person. And it's fucking gross. Like, I'm a big advocate for prison reform. We shouldn't have privatized prisons. That's
crazy
insanity to me. I couldn't sleep at night if I was making millions of dollars off of imprisoning other humans.
Yeah.
Like, that is just nasty to me. Oh, dude. See, I've got a lot of opinions. I'm a very opinionated person, and I can get on a roll with all of it, but it all starts with politics. And this stuff is why I follow politics. Like, if Donald Trump can come through with some prison reform and maybe free some people who shouldn't still be sitting behind bars, let's do it.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris has been in office for almost 4 years, hasn't done shit.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump was trying to enact all this stuff back in 2019, which is why people like Lil Wayne started endorsing him. They were like, oh, dude, like, you're actually trying to get black dudes out of prison.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. Joe Biden didn't do any of that. Kamala Harris didn't do any of that. She's got the authority to do that now.
Yeah.
She could start commuting sentences now.
Yeah.
She has that authority.
Well, Trump freed Kodak.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, yeah.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
When
Kodak Black.
Out?
Yeah.
He was like, let him out.
Yep.
Yeah. Kodak Black is forever in debt to him too. He
Yeah.
talks about it all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, he does. He's like, I love Donald Trump.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like that's the way the world should be operating, in my opinion. I mean, I'm
There's
not
a
saying I'm right. I'm just saying these are
Well-
my opinions.
There's a lot that you've said today that I agree with.
And you're allowed to disagree, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
but there's a lot that you said that I do agree with. I think the biggest thing to me is just like how kind of overwhelming it all is.
Yep.
To try to, because I'm trying to like just pay attention to it a little bit more, because it makes a huge difference. And like the thing that's got me is you said something the other night, something about it not being bad enough yet.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so
it's gotten to that point.
it's gotten to that point, but in
It's
2020
bad
it
enough.
hadn't gotten bad enough yet.
It's bad enough.
It wasn't bad enough for people to wake up and go, holy shit, maybe I should put my feelings about someone, what they say online, aside
Yeah.
and actually look for myself
Yeah.
as to what they're doing. Yeah, it has to get bad enough but that's how revolution happens.
Yeah.
And I don't mean a hot war revolution that people are out there going, we're going to go civil war. It's like, well, we're already kind of in one, because if a sticker company comes out and endorses a president, people lose their fucking minds.
Yeah.
It's not a hot war, but it is a civil war. You know, when people I personally am not worried about walking down the street wearing a Trump shirt and a Trump hat
Mhm.
and knocking on doors and stuff like that and having all the Trump signs in my front
Mhm.
yard. My neighbors are. They're Trump people. They love that I gave them a sign. They never put it in their front yard.
Yeah.
They're worried. And rightfully so. And I'm not judging them. I'm just stating a fact. Like, I'm not worried. Shit hasn't gotten weird yet.
Yeah.
But my house is also very capable of defending itself.
Yeah.
And my house is bulletproof. So windows aren't, but the rest of it is. So,
Because it's brick.
Yep,
Okay.
block. You're not getting through my house. You're not getting through the shop. So, but I'm not worried about it because we're not at that crazy ass point. Plus, this is all homeowners that have been here forever. This
Yeah.
whole neighborhood. Like, we don't want to start shit. My neighbors are all Hispanic. Half of them, I don't know if his in-laws are here legally or not. It's not my problem. They're wonderful people. I say hi to them every time. Me and Richard have hung out. We've done deals together.
Yeah.
He's given me gifts back and forth. Like, wonderful people. I don't have an opinion, outside of I enjoy that they're my neighbors.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that they are my neighbors because they have been very peaceful and very loving.
Yeah.
I was very much blessed with having some pretty great neighbors. It's a very quiet neighborhood, which is fucking surprising for where we are. But yeah, dude, it hasn't gotten bad enough yet, and I think it finally has, because now you have more people of all walks of life going, well, wait a minute, let me look into this because this matters now. They're seeing my check doesn't cover all my bills anymore. What happened?
Yeah.
You can blame Donald Trump, but how? He's not in office. He's got no
He
power.
hasn't been in office.
For 4 years, everything's gotten more expensive. I can't
Yeah.
afford chicken. I can't afford eggs. I can't afford
What's crazy
milk.
is they still blame him for that, though.
It's wild, dude. but that's all they're
How are you
saying
gonna
is
blame
it's Trump's
somebody?
fault. And It's
Yeah.
like, well, how?
Yeah, exactly.
It's all you have to do is ask one question.
How?
And if they just lose their minds and call you a bigot, they don't have an argument.
Yeah.
But I've yet to hear one person go, well, this is how he's truly running a shadow campaign and blah, blah, blah. Really? Because we don't, the House and the Senate are basically in a deadlock right now. How is he running anything?
Yeah.
If the House and the Senate were still majority Republican and he was out there secretly like Obama was for the last 4 years. So I very much believe Obama was still very much in Biden's ear for the last 4 years.
I think so.
Well, it was his boy.
Yeah.
It was his VP. He very much pushed. They didn't want him in office, but they didn't have a better option.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, this is the guy who's been running and we haven't let him. Let's just let him do
Who
it.
did Obama run against?
Obama, the first time, ran against John McCain,
Oh,
which was a
okay, yeah.
god-awful situation.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And, the dude was a rhino. He was
Yeah.
a Republican in name only. He voted with the Democrats on literally every bill.
Yeah.
You can go back and look at his history. And then he ran against...
Clinton? Hillary?
What?
Or no, that was Trump.
But that was in his own party.
Yeah.
But Hillary did run against Biden in 2008
Okay.
for their primary, but Obama got it. He was pushed into it. Trump ran against Hillary. That was the ballot. Who the hell was on Obama ballot?
Number 2.
Was it Ted Cruz?
It might have been Cruz.
I know Ted Cruz has ran for president several times, and I wouldn't vote for his crazy ass. I do like him to a degree.
Okay.
I think he's very divisive in the party.
Ah.
So right now, in the war that the left has chosen to make this all about identity politics and
Yeah.
you have to stay within your lines, he talks too much shit about other conservatives. He talks shit about Trump all day long. He talks shit about Dan. He's got an eye patch. He's a Navy SEAL.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's Dan
just-
Crenshaw.
I
Dan
don't know.
Crenshaw.
I'm laughing at the iPads.
Yeah, he's got an eye patch.
That's
He
funny.
lost his eye in war.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, Dan Crenshaw.
I would just rock the no eye.
I
instead of
would
the eye
too.
patch, yeah.
But dude, the eye patch makes him look like fucking Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. Let's see. Whenever I see him, I always think about what's his name from the Ice Age. Was it Ice Age 3?
Oh, yeah.
The crazy ass
Yeah.
otter
I can't think
or
of his
weasel or
name.
whatever
Yeah,
he
I
is with
can't
the
think
eye
of his- I
patch.
can't think of
Buck.
his-
I think his name is Buck.
Yeah.
That's what I think about, the crazy ass eye patch.
Yeah.
This is just pulling out a knife because
Yeah.
this dude was a soldier.
Yeah.
It's like I could see him easily just pulling out a big old fucking
Bowie
K-bar.
knife,
Let's see. 2012 election results. I didn't know 20. Come on, phone. 12. Oh, Mitt Romney. He
Mitt
ran against
Romney.
Mitt Romney. Yeah. And Arizona was still a red state back then.
Really?
Yep. Man. I hope Arizona's red again this year and not fucking blue.
I learned that there are 7 major battle states or 8 major battle
Seven.
states. 7.
Arizona's one of them.
Yep, I saw that.
Yep. That's why everything I'm doing here matters so much, is because we're a battle state. Like we're undecided. If it wasn't for all the America, if we got rid of the voting machines, I think Arizona would be a red state.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that those Dominion machines call too much bullshit into play. Like, you can say whatever you want. It's just my opinion. I'm not saying anything is fact. But when Arizona was called before the counting was finished, so counting has till a set time. They have until this time of night to finally say, okay, we're done counting. Here's the count, and then it gets verified by the governor. It gets verified by somebody, and then they go, okay, yeah, here we go. This is who.
Is
we
it
voted for.
electronic or do you actually write on paper?
In Maricopa County, it's electronic.
It's electronic.
Here, it's a paper ballot. Here
Okay.
in Tucson, it's a paper ballot. Thank God. So you actually go in there, fill in the little
Yeah.
holes, and then run it through a machine.
Yeah.
But you actually do it. So, but those Maricopa County had so much sketchy shit. They called Arizona at like 9 p.m. Or like 8. I think the polls were still open. People were still actively voting when they called Arizona.
Really?
And they were like, how did you call so early? Like, your people are still voting. The rest of the world is still voting. What are
Yeah.
you doing? So it was just so much sketchy shit going on with Arizona, dude. The whole thing just stinks to high heaven. And then right now they're arguing to keep. So right now the biggest thing that's been called into question is because of 2020, a lot of states are going through their voter registration rolls and verifying people are not dead, they haven't moved out of state. They're cleaning up their active voters. I think it was Michigan just did this. And they have 100,000 more people on their voter registry than there are people in the state that are of age to vote.
Wow.
And they just purged 500,000 people from their ballots.
Jeez.
So they've already cleaned up a lot, but there's still over 100,000 people that can't fucking vote in their state that are on their voter rolls.
Really?
And you're going to tell me shit isn't sketchy? Because he was winning Michigan until like 2 in the morning. At like 2 in the morning, everything flipped. I went to bed at like 1. And in Michigan, in Detroit, they had this room that was like all glass windows everywhere. And they were putting stock board in the windows so people with cameras outside couldn't see what was going on inside.
Jeez.
sketchy shit like that, dude. Just it's always going to call stuff into play.
Yeah.
Whether it was free and fair and legit and above board or not, the action and behavior of people
Spoke differently.
was fucking sketchy.
Yeah.
Like, and that is fact. Whether or not the vote was real, I'm not saying.
Yeah.
But people's behavior was sketch. Really sketch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude, the whole situation's weird. So hopefully this year goes easier. It's going to get fucking nasty no matter who gets the vote.
How many days do we have left? 14?
12.
12?
12 days left, dude.
So it's going to get pretty gnarly in the next week.
Well, yeah, but after, so on the 6th, hi, serial killer. So starting on the 6th, dude, is that not just like kind of scary?
You look like you're from the movie Psycho.
Just look over and all I see is just that
Half
little
a-
sliver of
half
her
a
face.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, holy crap. So, damn it, what was I about to say?
Dirty voting stuff, and then it getting crazy in the last.
So what's going to happen is November 6th until all through January, no matter who wins, it's going to be weird, dude.
Yeah.
It's going to get nasty. It's going to get dirty. People are going to be pissed. I wouldn't be surprised. So if Trump wins, starting November 6th, there might be riots. There might be some real weird, bad shit happening.
Mhm.
And if Trump loses, there's also going to be some really weird, bad shit happening. Now, I don't think, historically speaking, those of us on the right typically don't destroy public and private property.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll be like that. But you're definitely it's going to be a nasty time, dude.
Yeah.
No matter who wins. That's how fucked this country is right now.
I know. I agree.
So anyways, that was a fun dive into politics.
Yes, it was.
I got to go pick up my kid from work real quick
Eat some dinner.
and eat some dinner. So please get out. Register to vote. Oh, no, registering's over. No. Well, you can still register, I
You
think.
can still register.
So there's a certain day you can't register till, and I'm not awake enough to, well, I'm kind of worn out now from dealing with a stupid truck. But get out, vote. Vote like your life depends on it. Take a friend, go vote. If you're not old enough to vote, wait till next time. But if you are old
You're
enough to
fucked.
vote and you've stuck around this long, like, comment, subscribe. I never say that. And lots of people seem to be watching more than I would have expected, and no one ever comments.
No.
You comment,
I do comment.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, and half the time I don't see it until I'm uploading the next video,
Yeah.
so it's hard to comment
Comment
back.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, leave something, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a sub, please. Come on, I'm a little guy here, but I'm not wearing hockey pads. So, yeah, just get out and vote. If you disagree with anything I had to say, please disagree with me.
Argue with him.
Yeah, if you agree with anything I had to say, let me know I'm doing an okay job. If you think something needs to change, if you hate my stupid, ugly face, say so. Like, I don't care. Say whatever you want. Just please leave comments. Let me know what you think.
Tell us what kind of cereal you like.
Tell us what kind of serial killer you like.
Yes, that'd be fun too.
So just, yeah, let's start getting some stuff going in the chat. Let's get some comments
interaction.
going, because we will comment back. I will only be probably doing that while I'm at work because it's fun to do in between jobs. But no, man, leave some comments, leave some interaction here. Tell us what you think. If you want to hear something, if you want to hear more of something, less of something, if you want me to talk less, if you want me to just sit here and never talk at all, it'd be kind of weird because it's my fucking channel. But yeah, if you want to see more of Peyton, man, come here, Peyton. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. Come here. Mr. Peyton, man, he got a haircut.
Yeah, he did.
So looking svelte instead of looking like a big fat fatty. He got abandoned in here. But yeah. If you want something, tell us what you want. If you want us to talk about certain movies, certain TV shows, whatever you want.
Ooh, we have a TV show that we're going to be talking about real soon.
Yes, sir.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Which is what this show was named after.
Yes, sir.
We just haven't gotten into it. We've been talking about so much
Jackie
other
Daytona.
stuff. Jackie Daytona. What?
I'm just a regular human guy.
That?
Bat?
Listen here. Gizmo's right. You've never been so interesting.
I speak 14 languages, as long as they're
As
English.
long as they're English. My jalopy. Yep. So we'll be talking about that here coming up real soon.
Yes, sir.
So anyways, from Tucson, Arizona, I'm Randy.
And I'm Dana.
Have a good one.